Welcome back to the Rodcast, guys. Hope you're doing well out there. I'm your host, Rod, as always. And in this video, we're going to be going to Portland once again and looking at a story here where the activists and the media here want us to feel sorry for a teen who got arrested by ICE. Under certain circumstances, he was arrested, and they're trying to make it seem like he's a totally innocent guy who was randomly arrested by ICE, and it's such an injustice. You know how they frame things.
In McMinnville, students at a high school walking out of class this morning after the ICE agents arrested a fellow student last week.
So let's bring in our Joelle Jones live tonight with what those students are saying today. Joelle?
Yes, Liz, Jeff, it's all quiet out here now, but earlier we saw nearly 300 students out here demanding ICE leave McMinnville following the arrest of that fellow student. I asked county leaders what's being done as these teens say they want to see a future where families no longer live in fear.
You can say you're U.S. citizens, they don't care, just take you. So now I don't feel safe.
McMinnville High School.
Okay, first of all, this dude, who in the world told you that this haircut is acceptable? You look like a freaking gay gladiator from like 1,000 years ago, okay, from the Roman Empire. That's what you look like. And second of all, this is not your country, so you shouldn't feel safe here at all. You and your relatives should be going back to wherever you came from, okay? And by the way, they are not going after citizens, obviously, because ICE can't deport citizens. So that's a lie, what he just said. I wish we can deport you all, but nevertheless, as far as the law goes, ICE is only deporting illegals. So if you're not an illegal, you have nothing to worry about. I'm guessing his family is illegal, and that's why he's worried.
You can say you're U.S. citizens, they don't care, just take you. So now I don't feel safe.
McMinnville High School students marching out in solidarity with a fellow student arrested.
Yeah, keep marching all the way back to Mexico. This McMinnville will be a better place without you.
By immigration officers while on lunch Friday.
Honestly, after what happened to that kid, the 17-year-old, I don't feel safe going to school. I don't feel safe walking the streets of McMinnville no more.
Border Patrol agents say they called in ICE after two vehicles barricaded their SUV. DHS says both drivers, the 17-year-old student and 20-year-old Eduardo Soto Elias, were arrested for allegedly impeding federal officers. Officials say that.
And there you go. They mention it briefly, and they spent like a couple seconds on it. They didn't even wait for ICE to release a statement, which Tricia McLaughlin came out with a statement, which explained what happened here. This so-called innocent teenager was actually a thug who tried to stop ICE agents from arresting somebody. Okay. They only spend literally like 2 seconds on it. She briefly mentioned the reason he was arrested and then moves on to the pity party where they're feeling sorry for this criminal.
DHS says both drivers, the 17-year-old student and 20-year-old Eduardo Soto Elias, were arrested for allegedly impeding federal officers. Officials say the two U.S. citizens were taken to Portland for processing.
They've crossed the line here with having students being afraid to go to school, and that's across our district.
Yamhill County Commissioner Bubba King tells.
Yeah, maybe they're afraid for a reason, because their disgusting taco-eating asses don't belong in America. That's why they're scared. See, if they're back in their home country where their parents are from, they wouldn't be scared. I'm not scared. And all the other people who are descended from the Northern European families who built this country were not scared, because this is our country built by our ancestors. Only people who don't belong here have something to worry about. It's like me invading China or something illegally and then being afraid that the Chinese are coming to pick me up because I broke into their land. I should be afraid because I'm a criminal in China. If I invade their land, I am a criminal. I should be afraid. And that's why your fellow students are afraid, because their parents are freaking illegals. And Bubba here doesn't want to admit that. He doesn't want to think about that. He just wants the whole world to be able to break into America. That's his thinking. Okay, he's a bleeding heart, open borders idiot.
Tells me the federal crackdown is hurting local businesses and already spreading fear beyond McMinnville.
The Dayton superintendent put out a plea for community support for their students. And that doesn't look like waving signs or being loud, but really just showing up for our kids and showing them.
Our kids. Look at the lack of self-respect Bubba here has, okay? He's putting his kids in the same level as the kids of a bunch of illegals who broke into this country. That's how little self-respect this man has for himself and his family. Okay? King, I'm supposing he's English or something in that area. So his ancestors might have built this country, but he has no respect for them. And he thinks that everybody from around the world gets to just break in here. And he puts them all under our kids. Our kids are afraid. No, your kids are not afraid. And you know that, liar. Okay. Nothing's going to happen to your kids. And you know that unless unless your kids are somehow illegals. But other than that, the only people who are afraid are people who broke into this country, and they should be afraid because we're going to hunt them down, ICE is, and drag them out. So get ready to cry more, Bubba, because it's going to keep happening until all the illegals are gone.
For community support for their students.
Community support.
That doesn't look like waving signs or being loud, but really just showing up for our kids and showing them that they matter.
In response to
these illegal kids don't matter.
the rally, the McMinnville School District says administrators and police monitored to keep students safe. The superintendent telling families students who leave are no longer under school supervision and would be marked unexcused, but welcomed back. The rally comes as nearly 1,000 residents call on city council to declare an emergency after 10 people were detained by federal immigration officers last week. The petition urges the city to report any detentions, reaffirm sanctuary promise commitments, and condemn ICE's tactics.
Just taking hardworking people, taking fathers, mothers, just leaving their kids alone. It's really sad.
Yeah, you know what? How you can be not sad? By getting your ugly, disgusting ass back to Mexico. Then you won't have to be afraid anymore. Okay? You've broken into our land, into Anglo-Saxon land, so we're going to kick you the hell out. You're disgusting Aztec mixed with Spaniards, and we don't want you here. Okay? That's what you don't understand. Mr. Roman gay haircut here doesn't understand that. You're in my land, and we don't want you here.
New information this morning about why immigration detained a McMinnville teen Friday. A local justice group says the arrest is part of a growing problem involving ICE agents targeting U.S. citizens. Fox 12's Abby Davis spoke with a member of the group Oregon for All who's working to track these arrests.
The only U.S. citizens that are being detained and have a problem are U.S. citizens who are trying to stop ICE agents from doing their job because they care more about illegal aliens than our own law enforcement doing their job and securing our country.
It's a scary world that we live in.
Jess Montoya says community members are on high alert after ICE detained a McMinnville high school student Friday. She told Fox.
The only people who have to be scared are people who are illegals who broke into this country and the people who are trying to stop ICE agents from arresting those people. Those are the only two groups who have to be in fear, okay? Your ass might need to be in fear, Montoya, but all of us, we're not in fear because we're not committing crimes. We're not illegals, and we're not trying to help illegals either. So it is not a scary world, actually. It's a great world. America has never been more beautiful to me than when you're all being dragged out of here.
A scary world that we live in.
Jess Montoya says community members are on high alert after ICE detained a McMinnville high school student Friday. She told Fox 12 he was arrested just a day after ICE took 2 other U.S. citizens into custody, women who were recording agents in Canby.
We know that in both situations, they were missing for several hours in that their families were unable to locate them in any way. Attorneys were unable to locate them as well.
Montoya says the justice group she works for, Oregon for All, is seeing an uptick in the number of U.S. citizens ICE is arresting. They reported 4 detained.
That's because there's an uptick in U.S. citizens actively trying to interfere with illegal aliens being apprehended by the police. That's why there's been an uptick in U.S. citizens who are committing federal crimes by trying to stop ICE agents doing their job. When you do that, get ready to be arrested. Get ready to be arrested.
Just this past week.
It's really sad.
Bubba King is Yamhill County Commissioner.
Boy, Bubba,
yeah, I think it is really just part of the tactic of pushing the line of what they can get away with. And I think it's to create fear.
They can get away with it because they're trying to follow the law and you're trying to aid and abet the illegal aliens who have invaded our country, Bubba. You are a disgrace to your ancestors.
In a community of one particular minority group, and then that will eventually...
Yes, the only minority group invading this country compared to everybody else, the largest one, are the ones south of the border from Mexico. That's why one group is being targeted. If Swedish people or Norwegians were invading this country, they would be targeted as well for removal.
Spread to others.
Homeland Security says they arrested the teen after he colluded with another driver to barricade U.S. Border Patrol agents. A spokesperson said in a statement Saturday the incident reflects a growing and dangerous trend, saying our law enforcement is facing a 1,000% increase in assaults against them as they arrest and removing dangerous criminals from the U.S. She didn't give any details about the 2 women agents detained.
It's awful. I mean, people in my community are being targeted, whether they are documented or undocumented. And I think that is a horrible way to live.
Abby Davis.
By targeted, he means that people are being questioned. And after ICE finds out that they're citizens or if they're legal, they let them go. If they can't explain their presence here and they're illegal, they're being detained. That's what he means.
We also reached out to the superintendent of the McMinnville School District. While she wasn't available for an interview, she released a statement saying she's grateful the teen is back home with his family. Oregon for All reports that 2 women from Oregon who are U.S. citizens were also held in ICE custody for several hours. The group says this happened at around 8 in the morning on November 20th. They say the 2 women, one in her 60s, the other in her 30s, were watching and filming ICE agents in a parking lot in Canby. They were taken to the ICE processing facility in South Portland, but released that evening. A spokesperson for Oregon for All released a statement following those arrests, saying the First Amendment protects the rights of Oregon.
Yes. If those women were arrested just for filming, obviously that's not okay because they have the right to film law enforcement in public areas. If they most likely what they were doing is much more than just filming. Okay, that's what they always say. Oh, we were just filming. Usually it's because they try to interfere with ICE activities or were stalking the ICE agents and follow them home. Doing things like that is not okay. That is not protected by the First Amendment. But nevertheless, they were released anyways. I don't like that. I don't like that they're releasing all these people. They should be turning these people over to the FBI to be prosecuted under 18 U.S. Code 111. Okay. But nevertheless, that's a discretionary decision up to ICE agents there. And they can decide or not decide to call the FBI and, have them fully prosecuted. But that's up to them. So I'm going to trust their discretion. But I would like more of these people prosecuted because they keep doing this. Okay. If you don't punish them, they're going to keep doing this. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And it is gotten worse. More of them are interfering. More of them are trying to jump in the way of ICE doing their jobs. So things don't get better if you don't actually fix the situation. So you have to actually do something against these people and send a message. Otherwise, they're going to keep trying to interfere with your work. And ICE agents on the ground are the ones who have to suffer with this BS of idiots trying to get in their way of them doing their job and removing the illegals out of our country. This is what they do. Okay. The media tries to simp for these people. The last video, that whole network is totally in favor of illegals and it's disgusting. Okay. They're against the law enforcement and they're in favor of the illegals. So that's people have the right to believe in whatever they want. And some people believe in very anti-American ideas, but it's legal for them to believe that. They actually do have the right to believe those things and we have to fight against it. And most of the Americans don't feel that way, but there is a minority of idiots who care more about illegals than the regular Americans in this country or the law enforcement. And those are the people out there protesting in favor of the illegals. Nobody said life is easy. Okay. We all got to deal with this BS. But anyways, the ICE agents are doing their job the best way they can under all these circumstances. And I'm grateful for their work, but that's all I got to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll see you guys in my next one. Stay safe out there.